Welcome to Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. Hi, I'm Robert Brzezinski.
And I'm Jeanne Kataoka. And together, we're having real conversations with your favorite New Thought artists.
Join us as we take a deep dive into the inspiration and meaning behind the music of New Thought. Our guests are ready to share stories from their spiritual journey and creative process with you.
Real Conversations is a chance to look behind the curtain and connect with your favorite New Thought artists.
So let's dive right in. Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. And hello again, dear ones. Robert Brzezinski here with you. Another episode of Real Conversations, looking at the meaning behind the music. And my co-host is with us here today. Say hello, Jeanne.
Hi, everyone.
Jeannie's going to take the lead on today's interview because we're actually talking to a very, very good and dear friend of Jeannie's. We've got Yankee with us today. Al is a featured soloist at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. He's got a collection of CDs that are all New Thought based. I've got them here in front of me. Every Once, Every When is his latest compilation. Before that, he had Be Love that was released in 2015, and All There Is way back in 2010. Seems like almost forever ago now. However, so Al is the owner of Legacy Arts. He teaches music history and music business courses at local colleges. He's got a bio a mile long. He started his first band way back when he was 14. Well, I don't know that it was way back, but he started his
it was.
It was, he said. He started his first band at age 14. Spent many years in the Air Force. We're actually recording this song right after Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day. And he actually spent 16 years as a staff composer for the bands at the March Air Force Base in California. Most of that time as director of the Jazz West Big Band. Has had so many marquee performances, we really can't list them all, but a few highlights. He's performed at Ronald Reagan Presidential Library. He was at the 50th anniversary and dedication of Mount Rushmore with President George H.W. Bush, and performed at the state funeral of former President Richard M. Nixon. So being in the military gets you some high-profile gigs along the way. Al, congratulations on that.
Yes, it does.
He is currently the producer and an entertainment consultant with Legacy Arts in Palm Desert, and is the mastermind behind the New Thought Music Festival, which we'll talk about a little bit later in our program. But we want to just start off by saying a big, huge welcome and hello, welcome, Al.
Well, thank you so much. It's so great to be here with you and Jeannie this morning.
Let's get this party started. So one of my favorite songs of yours, Al, because I just love the turn of phrase, is Mind Matters, Matter Minds. Tell us about that.
Well, I can't take, thank you for the compliment, by the way, but I can't take credit for the turn of phrase. That actually belongs to Lee McNeil Nash, who, of course, you know, longtime reverend at the Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. She was actually candidating to be for the reverend position, and she was the kind of a speaker that was very kind of intuitive, and you could see it when she said that. She was talking about the law of attraction and how mind matters, and then she just turned it around in her head, and you could even just see the look of surprise on her face when she said it. And I was sitting there and going, "Oh, that's great! That's just a wonderful thing." And it stuck with me as a clever turn of phrase, but something else was happening, of course, at the same time, which was that I had been there at the Riverside Center as a kind of a hired musician for several years at that point, for about 7 or 8 years, I believe, at that point. I like to tell people, most people come in through the front door, and the people say they're attracted to the New Thought philosophies through either inspiration or desperation.
Yes. Yeah.
Neither was the case for me. I came in through the kitchen. just like any old musician, right? I was just there. I did like what I was hearing from the pulpit. I thought, again, I wasn't looking for anything. I just heard it again and again and again, all these great messages. And what I wasn't hearing, which it was kind of a form of Chinese water torture, which was every week I would hear great messages from the pulpit that then the songs that we were performing didn't seem to me to be reflecting. They were nice songs and they were well performed, but I thought there's a small disconnect there. And so I heard that mind matters, matter minds phrase and the message, and I just said, okay, I'm going to write this. I have the skill set. I can write a song. So that's what I did. Of course, it was kind of came out of left field because that was not something that anybody knew about me. I was the guy standing there playing saxophone and flute, and that was about it.
So you weren't playing keyboards at that time?
No. That we had a fine keyboard player, Jimmy Dykes, who was music director at that center for many, many years.
All right. Well, let's take a listen to Mind Matters, Matter Minds.
Our thoughts are beginning a magical start. It sets events spinning, whirling out from your heart. Everything traded, bartered or bought, each thing that's created began as a thought. Thoughts are things, and things are thoughts. Ideas have wings to soar aloft, dreams and wishes unconfined. Mind matters, matter minds. Imagine a world, that's all it takes. Picture an ocean, sparkling rivers and lakes. Envision an Eden, hold it close in your mind. Believe that it's real, here's what you'll find. A beautiful girl floating in space, a place of abundance, filled with love's sweet embrace. One vibrant creation, feel the joy of it all. Sense the inner connection of all things great and small. Thoughts are things, and things are thoughts. Ideas have wings to soar aloft, dreams and wishes unconfined. Mind matters, matter minds. Ideas to the greatest abstractions, the universe acts on beliefs and reactions. As within, so without, as above, so below. We move beyond doubt and know what we know. Thoughts are things, and things are thoughts. Ideas have wings to soar aloft, dreams and wishes unconfined. Mind matters, matter minds.
I know that was on your first New Thought album, All There Is, in 2010, but I know you did a reprise of it in 2015. How did that come about?
Well, actually, the 2010 was not the first recording of it. I actually wrote it in 2007 and created I don't know if you remember, but back in those days, the CDs, sometimes you'd have what they called enhanced CDs. It was just the one song, but it was in a couple of different keys. It was in karaoke versions. You could put the CD in your computer and print up lyric sheets or sheet music. I was just so positive that everybody in the world was going to want to perform this song that I wanted to enable them to. Reality, of course, was that a few people liked it and some people have performed it. My expectations might not have matched reality. But it has proven to have legs, as they say. It's been a long-lasting tune, and it has been performed many times over the past 10 years or so. As you heard, it's a slow song, and it's a bit long, and it's kind of wordy. So I just thought maybe some people would like to perform it, but just it doesn't have to be so darn long. So the quickest way to do that, of course, is just to double up the tempo. And so when I was playing with that, it kind of came out like a Latin version, so like a salsa version.
Yes.
It's hard to spit the words out that fast, but it's so I re-recorded it in an up-tempo Latin style.
Well, it's not often that we do double plays here on Real Conversations, but I think we just have to listen to that second version as well. So here it is again, folks, a whole different perspective on Mind Matters, Matter Minds by Al Yankee. Enjoy.
A thought, a beginning, magical start, sets events spinning, whirling out from your heart. Everything traded, bartered or bought, each thing that's created began as a thought. Thoughts of things, things of thoughts, ideas have wings to soar aloft, dreams and wishes unconfined. Mind matters, matter minds. Imagine a world, that's all it takes. Picture an ocean, sparkling rivers and lakes. Envision an Eden, hold it close in your mind. Believe that it's real, here's what you'll find. Beautiful pearl, floating in space, a place of abundance filled with love's sweet embrace. One vibrant creation, feel the joy of it all. Sense the inner connection of all things, great and small. Thoughts of things, things of thoughts, ideas have wings to soar aloft, dreams and wishes unconfined. Mind matters, matter mind. From the least of ideas to the greatest abstractions, the universe stacks on belief and reactions. As within, so without, as above, so below. Move beyond doubt and know what we know. The thoughts of things, things of thoughts, ideas have wings, soar aloft, dreams and wishes undefined. Mind matters, matter mind. Thoughts of things, things are thoughts, ideas have wings, soar aloft, dreams and
that's fun, Al. I like hearing the two different versions of that song. And the first version we heard came off your first major release, All There Is. And the title song on that is also the album title, All There Is. Let's give that a listen real quick, and then I'd like you to share a little bit more of how that ends up on the title and why that's the marquee song for this album. But let's give it a listen first. Here we go, folks. All There Is by Al Yankee.
Sometimes people seem so crazy, talking funny, acting lazy, but I know just what they're after. A connection, love and laughter. You're a beauty, you're so fine, perfect body, precious mind, glowing spirit, flaming soul, fiery angel, take control. All there is all there is all there is all. Spring will change to summer, summer into fall, fall turns into winter, so it goes and goes. All there is all there is all I need to know. Could I hate you? I don't think so. 'Cause to do so would hurt me so. Do I know you? Yes, I think so. 'Cause you're me so. You I do know. You're a beauty, you're so fine, perfect body, precious mind, glowing spirit, flaming soul, fiery angel, take control. All there is all there is all there is all. Spring will change to summer, summer into fall, fall turns into winter, so it goes and goes. All there is all there is all I need to know. Do I love you? How could I not? When you're in my every thought, take my hand, walk in space. All is one in timeless grace. You're a beauty, you're so fine, perfect body, precious mind, glowing spirit, flaming soul, fiery angel, take control. All there is all there is all there is all. Oh. Spring will change to summer, summer into fall, hey, yeah. Fall turns into winter, so it goes and goes. So it goes. All there
welcome back. We're here on Real Conversations. I'm your host, Robert Brzezinski, and my co-host, Jeanne Kataoka, is with us today. We're talking with Al Yankee, and we just listened to All There Is. Al, share a little more. How does this album come about, and how does this become the title track and the first track on the album?
Well, the idea of unity, there's that word. Ernest Holmes, of course, was asked why he called his teachings religious science, because it's a kind of a wonky title. And he said, well, the best name is taken, and of course that's unity. And the idea of unity, the allness of one, or the however you want to put that, is maybe the main tenet that I've taken away from my years of listening to the wonderful New Thought orators. So I wrote a song on that album called The Unity Song, and I also wrote this title piece, All There Is, because I was just trying to express in a package that was attractive, with a good hook, a chorus that everybody could sing. All there is all there is all there is all. It doesn't take any, a child can sing that after hearing it one time. So that was the idea. And of course, you want to take that most attractive thing and make it the name of the album.
Gotcha. Right on. Thank you, Al.
So let's talk about some more of your music. Another one of my favorites is It Don't Matter. So do you want to listen to that first, or you want to talk about it first?
I think it's always better to listen to it first.
All righty, let's do that.
It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. As long as stars are up above, you need to love yourself. Love a boy, love a girl, love nobody, love the world. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. Now just ask yourself this question. Give this a little thought. Has somebody ever told you who to love and who to not? Now they wouldn't say a thing. It just wouldn't make no sense if you weren't in love already and they saw the evidence. Did you ask for their approval? Well, what were you thinking, Jizz? What you need is a removal. Get their nose from out your biz. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. As long as stars are up above, you need to love yourself. Love a woman or a man, love everybody if you can. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. So go gather up your minions and find out just what they think. If you ask for their opinions, you're gonna find out that they stink. Even with the best intentions, they can't know right from the start your innermost inventions, motivations from your heart.
That's right.
Now nobody can complete you, no one else can make you real. So just listen deep inside you and discover what you feel. Discover what you feel. Discover what you feel. Discover what you feel. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. As long as stars are up above, you need to love yourself. Say if you're straight or if you're gay, it don't matter anyway. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. Well, don't you hate the high divorce rate? Don't you hate when hearts are broken? What's the deal with all that heartache? What's the truth that's left unspoken? When you look outside for meaning, it's not there, and I repeat, you can't find the other half of what's perfect and complete. You can't find the other half of what's perfect and complete. But if you want somebody to hold you close, to hold you near, just take care of number one. number two will soon appear. Just take care of number one, and number two will soon appear. 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 It won't matter who I love if I don't love myself. As long as stars are up above, I need to love myself. Love a boy, love a girl, love nobody, love the world. Love a woman or a man, love everybody if I can. It don't matter who I love until I love myself. Until you love yourself, you can't love nobody else. That ache inside is just psychosis. It ain't love, it's just neurosis. When you get right with number one, you'll find the loving's just begun. Don't be lazy, don't you shirk it. You'd be crazy not to work it. If you're a boy or a girl, you're a blessing to the world. If you're a woman or a man, love everybody if you can. If you're straight or if you're gay, it don't matter anyway. It don't matter who you love until you love yourself. You need to love yourself. Just love yourself. Hey, love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love to love yourself. Love to love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself.
And we're back. So I that song just speaks to me. I think it's because it don't, as I recall, I haven't listened to it today, but before we recorded this, but it don't matter who you love. And I just thought that is so timely right now.
Oh, well, thank you. That is one of my personal favorites. That is the one of two pieces that I've recorded 100% by myself. That piece, the rhythm in there that you hear, the drums you might call them, it's a cardboard box. The rhythm section in that is a cardboard box and a little egg shaker. The poor cardboard box, I did that in one take.
Wow.
And it was the basic track, and the poor thing was just a piece of pulp by the And of course, all the voices on there are me, and the only other thing is that dun 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 is that that's just a little octave on a little synthesizer that I had there. That's one of the few things that I've done that's sort of in a rap style,
mm-hmm.
or kind of a almost corner doo-wop style. Mm-hmm. How you want to define that genre-wise. The idea, of course, it don't matter who you love. I had that experience. I had someone that I was in love with many years ago, and I had people telling me that this person was not somebody that I should be involved with. And people who I respected, people who I thought maybe were older and knew more than I did. And it turned out that I was able to revisit that relationship years later, after I had been married and had a child and been through a divorce, and I was available again. And so I went back to that person because they never entirely left my mind or my heart. And that person is, of course, your dear friend, Barbara.
Yes. That's a great story.
Well, and so, but it is personal to me, you know, so, and the lie of somebody else telling you who to love, they can't know. I mean, it's all in there. They can't know what's going on with you. And of course, we have many dear friends and acquaintances, whose gender identities don't fit some people's societal norms.
Right.
And that's, of course, a big deal these days.
Yes.
But it's being in theater and arts and music and all that. My whole life, I've had many folks whose gender identities were fluid, near and dear to me. So there was all that. So maybe that's why I chose, just because it is such a personal expression for me, why I chose just to do it all by myself in my front room where I'm sitting right now.
Let's talk about Get Away. I like that one too.
That's an unusual choice. Okay. There's actually a very simple explanation for that one, because it really is just, it's kind of just a bluesy thing. We were doing the New Thought festivals and had some really fine musicians.
Yes, you did.
That were, in the backup band in addition to the featured performers. And there was a guitarist that was featured on all my recordings, and I wanted to feature him. And so I was thinking what would be a great thing to do, and I was listening to some Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I was gathering some inspiration from there. And so that's what I just did. I kind of just took a standard blues form and some inspiration from Stevie Ray Vaughan and put it in the guitar key of E or A or something. I mean, I don't even remember, but just so that it would give him plenty of room to just cut loose. And that's Bill Kilpatrick is his name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the reasons I like that is because it is blues. And you don't always hear that in New Thought music. So I thought that really just brings an added dimension to the New Thought genre.
Right. You do hear plenty of gospel, which of course is not that far a relationship from blues. But of course there's that old thing of gospels in the church and blues is in the nightclub, and
right.
That whole dichotomy that comes from that heritage.
I think any song that's channeling Stevie Ray Vaughan is worth a listen. So how about we give it a listen, folks? Here's Get Away by Al Yankee.
That's a truth I bring. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say. You can run, you can hide, but you can never get away. Peace to the left, peace to the right, peace to every morning, every noon and night. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say. They're gonna get you from below and above. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say. You can't run, you can't hide, but you cannot never get away. Love and peace, peace and love. You may have plenty, but you'll never have enough. There's nothing you can do, nothing you can say. You can't run, you can't hide, but you can never get away. You can't run, you can't hide, but you can never get away. You can't run, you can't hide, but you can never, I said never, you can never, you can never get away.
Yeah, I love that. And if this were an AM station, they would either talk over or cut off that intro. And I know that you're going to get to hear the whole thing. So let's hear "Welcome Home," because that's quite different than "Get Away," and then we'll come back and talk about that.
When you're feeling lonely, or when you're feeling blue, you can make that feeling end. Change a stranger to a friend. Someone's out there waiting now to hear from you. You know, we've all been injured, and life can seem unkind. We get scars and blurry lines. Well, show me yours, I'll show you mine. Every cut will heal if you just give it time. Welcome home, welcome home. Makes no difference who you are or what you've done. You're always welcome here with open arms and a love that's warm as the sun. All are one. Welcome home. At times we feel unwanted and draw away in fear, but it starts with you, you know. As you reap, so shall you sow. So come share a laugh or maybe shed a tear.
Yeah, I think I hope this doesn't offend you, but that's a sweet song, and I know we've used it at our center as a welcoming song, and it just is to me. I feel very welcomed when I hear that. So tell me how that came about, Al.
It of course it is intended. I mean, it's all there in the title, Welcome Home. Folks have trials and tribulations, and again, we talked about people coming to places of worship or places of spiritual training through desperation, and even the folks who come there from inspiration, they have their desperate moments as well.
Yes.
And it is good to comfort folks once in a while, and just to let them know that they're loved and that they're appreciated and that they are accepted. So, of course, the idea for that song was that the words "Welcome Home" are painted over the door.
Yes.
To the Riverside Center. So it was one of those things that, I'd walk by there week after week after week. Somebody ought to write a song that I would have in my head, and every time I've had that thought, nobody ever does it. So it's just, again, it's inspiration comes in different forms, and usually when it comes to me, it's in the form of just annoying me into action. So that was that song. I thought somebody needs to write that song. Somebody needs to write that song. Welcome home. Okay, here I go. That's the way that one happened.
Somebody. Oh, I'm okay. Me. All right.
And we do love how spirit inspires and how that inspiration comes about. Thank you for sharing, Al. If you're tuning in just now, folks, I'm Robert Brzezinski. Jeanne Kataoka is with me. We are the hosts of Real Conversations, looking at the meaning behind the music with your favorite New Thought artists. Today, we are so blessed that Al Yankee is with us, and we've been having a great conversation. Now, because of the way these things happen, it's actually the middle of November when we're recording this. However, Al, you have the distinction of being our first ever holiday episode. And just kind of works out that way. We were hoping that you would have a holiday song, and you do, as a matter of fact. Now, this is not just Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer repackaged. This is not your typical Christian Christmas carol. I'm really interested, if you would, share with us a bit of how does Christmas Day come about, and what's it take to publicly perform a song like this?
Well, the very first line that anybody's going to hear in this song startles people. I've actually seen people actually recoil or gasp when I perform this at a Christmas celebration of some kind. Because maybe I shouldn't give it away. I'll just let people listen to it. But it really does relay the frustrations that I've had for many years with, and I know I'm not alone. People complain all the time about the commerciality of Christmas, the crassness of it all. How every year people are saying when the decorations start to appear at the stores before Thanksgiving or before Halloween now. I recall back when I was a kid, years ago, I recall, Christmas being maybe a 2-week kind of an affair. Definitely well after Thanksgiving, then you'd start thinking about it, and you'd have the holiday, and it was done. And even now, it kind of moves on into January.
Yes.
So that whole kind of frustration, and again, it's another kind of this slow working of I am really not looking forward to this. Mm. And couple that with the enforced cheerfulness, you've got to be cheerful. Or you're a Grinch, right? So there's that. At the same time, Jesus as a teacher, Jesus as a man. For some, Jesus as a savior. Don't want to take away anything from that, you know. So I put those two ideas together in this song, and just it really says what I think.
Yeah, let's give it a listen, folks. This is Al Yankee and Christmas Day.
Don't have much use for Christmas, at least not how it's done. A month of too much eating and shopping on the run. All somehow seems so hollow. I think we've got it wrong. This may be hard to swallow, so I'll put it in a song. Now it's your birthday, Jesus. I wonder why you came. And if I somehow miss the point, I know you're not to blame. It's your birthday, Jesus. I wonder why you came. And if I somehow miss the point, I know you're not to blame. You see, I'm only human. I do the best I can. I hurry and I hustle. I worry and I plan. But then each cold December, it's right there in my face. Reminds me to remember to show a little grace and try to be like Jesus and try not to forget the ways of divinity in everyone he met. And try to be like Jesus and try not to forget the way he saw divinity in everyone he met. And now the meaning's coming clear to me. I think I have a clue. This Christmas let me celebrate the Christ in each of you. I'd like to thank you, Jesus, for showing me the way, for being the example of how to live each day. But I still have one question. You know I'm not that smart. Why can't each day be Christmas? At least here in my heart. It's happy birthday, Jesus. We sing on Christmas Day.
Oh, and I can absolutely hear what you're saying there, Al, right? That it's not the commercialism, but let's get back to the true meaning of the Christ consciousness.
Excellent. Thank you. I couldn't have put it better myself.
I think you put it better than that in song. So thank you, folks. We've been listening to the music of Al Yankee here today on Real Conversations. We're kind of coming up on the top of that hour. So before we get too far lost in the music, Al, share with us, if you would, what's on the horizon? What's the good news in your world? What are you working on? What should we know about? What's coming up? What new releases do you have coming?
Well, there is one other piece that I did a little while back. It's not exactly New Thought, although I've done it in New Thought centers. It is a piece that has to do with the immigration crisis and the kids in cages and that whole scene that we're all aware of. The piece is called "When Law's Not Enough." That's that can be found in all the usual places. So that's something that's out there now. And of course, I'm working always on new music. I'm also working on the next CD. I've got a dozen or so pieces that I've written over the last couple of years. Well, we'll be working on it over the next few months. It should be out early next year. I don't have a title yet for it. It kind of depends on how things go as we work through it.
Right on. Well, I tell you, for one, will be looking forward to that album, and we'll make sure that listeners of New Thought Media Network and New Thought Radio get a chance to listen to that. Maybe we'll be able to get you to come back, Al, before it's out and share a few sneak peeks with us when it happens.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes.
Great. Well, I think we're just about there, but Jeannie, you've got one major question left, right?
Well, actually, I wanted to ask Al about the program that he's bringing to Riverside next year. If you want to talk about that, Al?
Sure. I'm going to go back a little bit and tell people who are not familiar about the things we've done prior. My work with legacy artists, you heard that in the introduction, was producing entertainment events for private affairs and corporate meetings, and I've been doing that for a long time. And that goes hand in hand with me being exposed to some of the great New Thought artists I know that get featured on this station. I just wanted to bring some of that back home to the Inland Empire, back to Riverside. And so I said, I can do this. I'll just, it'll be my contribution. So I got some money together and hired some folks and put together a series of shows that we called the New Thought Music Festival. You can go to newthoughtmusicfestival.com to see who those people were. We have a YouTube channel as well with performances from those festivals. Alongside of that, we did a speaker series called Science and Spirituality that featured all kinds of interesting folks and interesting things. My counterpart on the East Coast is the Empower Music folks, Sue Riley and Richard McDeesey. Sue Riley formed that, and so you may know her as a New Thought singer-songwriter. And Richard McDeesey, who ran Music for Unity for years, also works with her on that. And they have continued to expand that in all kinds of ways. And they're now doing regional meetings and New Thought music conferences. I reached out to Sue and I said, we should get together on this. And she thought it was a great idea. So next September, we're having the West Coast SoCal New Thought Music Conference at the CSL in Riverside.
Looking forward to that too.
And that sounds like important work. Thank you, Al.
We'll be getting together music directors and musicians and anybody who's interested in music in New Thought centers is, I think we'll find it to be a great thing.
So as we're wrapping up, I have one final question for you. Now, you did allude earlier to the fact that It Don't Matter. It's one of your favorites, but what I want to know, what is, as my kids used to say, what is your very best favorite song in your catalog that you've written?
Oh, well, can I ask you to choose which is your favorite child?
Yeah, well, I understand the difficulty. So if you want to come up with two, because I have two children, I know you only have one, but you can pick a one and a two, or and we won't have to say which one's
right.
Which.
I mean, the analogy really works.
I'm sure it does.
Oh yeah, because you work really hard to create them, and then they go out and they are their own entities. So and of course with a song, when you're writing a song, you love that song the most. And that usually when you ask some songwriter which is your favorite, it's always the one they're working on at that moment because they are having that love experience with that song.
Sure.
So it's got to be very tough. I think a particular favorite of mine is I Rise.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I wrote it specifically, kind of as a counterpart to the Christmas Day song. It is Easter-like in its inspiration, although there are no specific Easter references in it. It just is a song about overcoming adversity, looking back after having some experiences and rising from the ashes, as it were.
Oh, that's a great introduction. Let's listen to this from Al Yankee's latest album, Every Once, Every When. This is I Rise.
Looking back over everything that's happened, looking back, it's so hard to take it in. If I've learned anything after everything that's happened, if I had it to do over, I'd do it all again. But now all that's done is done. The darkness fades to dawn, and so I rise. Yesterday has been and gone. The promise of the sun calls me to rise. The earth feels soft against my feet. The morning air is sweet, and as I rise, breeze upon my face, a caressing angel's grace. All that's done is done. Darkness fades to dawn, and so I rise. Looking back at the heartache and the sorrow, looking back at the times when things were tough. Please forgive me, I'm sorry if I ever caused you pain. I did the best I could, I hope it was enough. But now all that's done is done. I turn to face the sun, and then I rise. There's nothing left to do, nowhere else to go, and so I rise. Like an eagle taking flight, I leap into the night, and then I rise. Carried by the wind, feels like being born again. I ride the morning sun, to the heavens all is done, and so I rise. I can't believe it's come to this. Could it really be the end? But each end is a beginning, so I'll learn to live again. And I rise. There's nothing left to do, and nowhere else to go, and so I rise. Like an eagle taking flight, I leap into the night, and then I rise. Carried by the wind, feels like being born again. I ride the morning sun, to the heavens all is done, and so I rise. I rise.
definitely a great, great song. And I really see that rising to the top of the playlist. You're going to be hearing that over on New Thought Radio a lot in the near future, I think, folks. So, well, Al, thank you so much for being with us. Before we go, let listeners know what's your website, what's the best way for people to stay in touch with you, how can they contact you? Let us know all that kind of stuff.
Sure. Probably the best way is, the website that I like to refer people to is the New Thought Festival, newthoughtmusicfestival.com or newthoughtfestival.com. They both work. If anybody wishes to email me, my email address is very simple. It's my name, Al Yankee @verizon.net. Beyond that, I can be contacted through the CSL in Riverside. So all good.
Right on. Thank you, Al. And remember, folks, we'll put links to Al's music, how you can contact him, and other stuff in the show notes on the podcast webpage. You'll find we'll make sure you have all that information. So thanks, Al, for being with us. We generally say goodbye at this point, but I think we're going to listen to When Law Is Not Enough on the way out here. So we'll just wrap this up here and give everybody another bonus song by Al Yankee. This is When Law Is Not Enough.
I know, I get it. We've got to have laws to bring some order to the clamoring throngs, to settle our differences, help us get along. There's all kinds of people and all kinds of laws. There's laws of the jungle, the law of the land, the law of the Bible and of the Quran. There's laws of the nation and natural laws, but no law is perfect, and that gives us pause to think about mercy, to think about love, to offer compassion when law's not enough. For justice is blind, not blinded by fear, but blind to be equal, blind to be fair. Laws help us keep order, or so it appears. But laws are reactions, they all spring from fears. We never need laws when we understand the other guy's doing the best that he can. Justice is blind, not blinded by fear, but blind to be equal, blind to be fair. So think about mercy and think about love, and offer compassion when law's not enough. So what do you call it when things turn around and those sworn to protect us instead shoot us down? Or when those who serve us tear us apart, break up our family, rip up our heart? It's hard to get over, get my head around this fear that can turn the world upside down. In squad cars or White House, or on benches they sit, peacekeepers unwittingly conspire to commit crimes against humanity, crimes against humanity, cry for the families. Outrageous but blind to be equal, blind to be fair. So think about mercy and think about love, and offer compassion when law's not enough, and offer compassion when law's not enough.
Thank you for listening to Real Conversations, exploring the meaning behind the music. Real Conversations is produced by the New Thought Radio Network, sharing a vibration of love, positivity, and empowerment through a variety of media streams. Learn more on the web at newthoughtmedianetwork.org. Listen to past episodes of Real Conversations on the podcast page at newthoughtradio.net. Until next time, peace and blessings. Go forth and prosper.